Welcome everybody to this week's episode of Ant on Music. I am your humble host Ant, and this week's episode is going to be a lot shorter than the last couple episodes. Only going to look at two things. One of them's a box set. The other one is a re-release, 50th anniversary edition, and it kind of encompasses both ends of the metal spectrum, if you want to look at it that way. So before we jump into it, you can probably take a guess as to what we're talking about based on my jersey and the records posted up behind me. But before we jump in, I just want to thank everybody for coming back week after week and checking out the channel and sharing it on other platforms, dropping into the conversation. I love it. Click and like, click and share, subscribing, love it all. Thank you so much. And before we take a look, I kind of was surprised but not shocked, I guess you could say. Woke up this morning and found out that the one and only Mr. Nico McBrain is retiring from Iron Maiden. There's no ill will in the camp. Nico's had some health problems over the past few years. And after 42 years of very dutiful service to Maiden, the Brain is calling it a day. His last show will be in Sao Paulo, Brazil, and that, I believe, is coming up maybe even this evening. So that's going to be it for Nico, and, the Brain shall be no more. The Brain shall come to pass. So that's, sad day as far as metal goes to hear that Nico's hanging up, but I wish him the very, very best of luck and the happiest of retirements. He's still going to be involved with a ton of stuff, and who knows, maybe he's going to be involved with the recording of Maiden stuff. Don't know at this point. Either way, I'm sure there are a lot of drummers licking their chops and getting ready to try out for that drum stool. That's going to be something else when they fill that spot. That is a major spot to fill in for Maiden. And as always, up the irons. All right, so let's jump into it. Like I said, we're gonna have just two releases. First one is from a New York City band. They started off in the city. They started off as Wicked Lester. I did an episode, Kiss 50th Anniversary Edition for their debut. And now we're going to do the 50th anniversary of Hotter Than Hell. That's right. You wanted the best. You got the best. The hottest band in the land? Kiss. All right. Hotter Than Hell. So, this is the second album from the band. And, take a look at the back there. It is an embossed album cover, this 50th anniversary release. And they're coming in two styles, these anniversary releases. Coming in picture discs and also in the gold nugget vinyl. And that's what I went with. I went with the gold nugget vinyl as an homage to their incredible Japanese fans. If you notice, the lettering is in Japanese as well as English, front and back, okay? We'll take a look at it first, and then we'll talk about the album like you don't know about Kiss Hotter Than Hell. So, basic black, we got the Casablanca labels there, and as described, it is a gorgeous gold nugget vinyl. Very cool. All right, so this is the second one released like this. The first one is right up there, and did an episode on that, and it seemed like you guys liked that. So if you haven't seen it, go back and check it out. In addition, one of the things that always bothered me about this album was the photography on it absolutely sucks. This is terrible photography even for 1974. I mean, I've taken better pictures with old cell phones than this. But they did make it up to us by the inclusion of this pretty awesome poster in here. And this photo is top-notch. 12-year-old me, 15-year-old me would love to have this to hang on the walls. I don't think the missus would be too thrilled with me doing that today. So even in my man cave, I kind of keep it kind of low-key for the most part. I mean, there's music everywhere, so it's about as low-key as I can keep it, I guess. Inside, just as yellow could be. And as far as the track listing goes, This album has gained more respect over time. It wasn't greatly received when it first came out, but it does have some classic tracks in here. It kicks off with Got to Choose, Parasite, one of the best Kiss songs there is. Going Blind, very creepy tune, but actually like it. You know, it's a Gene Simmons tune. Title track, Hotter Than Hell. Let Me Go, Rock and Roll. All the way, then you've got Watching You, another fantastic track. Mainline, Coming Home, which I really dig, and it finishes off with Strange Ways. So that is the 50th anniversary edition of Kiss, Hotter Than Hell. Okay, moving right along. And people that go in and comment stuff to me and read the comments have seen that I've been anxiously awaiting the arrival of the next item that I have to show you. And that, of course, is Opeth, right? The last will and testament of Opeth. Don't get your panties all in a bunch. This is not the last album they're going to release. I can guarantee it. It's a concept album, much like Still Life. You know, it's the last time they did a full-fledged concept album was Still Life. And the last time that they had growling was Watershed. Okay. Now, you know, you got a couple of camps when it comes to the Opeth group of fans. All right. You've got those that like old Peth. You know, that's all the stuff that's like pretty much pre-heritage. And then you've got the newer fans. All right. I kind of straddle the fence there, but I lean a little bit more towards the post-heritage stuff. Do not hang me out to dry. You like what you like. I'm not going to bust your balls if you like, you know, the older stuff. You know, Blackwater Park, fantastic album. For me, I've never been a big fan of the growling, all right? I guess coming up, you know, in the 80s when you had, you know, like really phenomenal vocalists that were around and stuff like that, the growling was kind of, you know, it sounds kind of, you know, it's always been said Cookie Monster-ish. Not really a big fan, but they do add it back. Michael Lagerfeld said that he added it back because, one, they had done some older songs on the previous tour and his voice sounded good, and he felt that it was time to bring it back because it had been a significant amount of time. He also said that it kind of fits in with the idea of The Last Will and Testament. The Last Will and Testament is just that. It is a concept album about the reading of a will of a family that has all sorts of issues, like what family doesn't. So here is the hype sticker on the box set. I can see you. And take a look at the box itself. I'm just going to grab a sip of water here. So it's a beautiful box, and I had to get it from Germany. Reason being is when I went to order it from Reigning Phoenix Music here in the States, this thing sold out incredibly fast. And I have gotten the past few Opeth box sets, and I wanted to keep that, you know, part of my collection going. So there you have the front with the family crest, so to speak. And then on the back, The Last Will and Testament. And what does the box contain? All right. Well, first off, it contains the double album set. And a lot of people have remarked that the picture is a little darker than anticipated, and it definitely gives you off Shining vibes. You know, if you go back and you've ever seen the movie The Shining with Jack Nicholson, you know, the portrait that hung in the hotel. So, you know, very reminiscent of that. On the back, you have the band there. And also, if you look closely on the front, the band is up front. I guess it's a twist on, in a way, on Sgt. Pepper's as well. Inside, on the gate, you've got the portraits of the band, as well as the crest again. Okay, and inside, this is pretty cool. There are multiple colors of this album. I don't know how nuts I'm going to go like I did with last year's Steven Wilson Harmonic Convergence. We'll see. But this is a lovely ink spot covered album. All right. Very cool looking. And it is a double vinyl album. So I'll show you both slabs since it's a box set and we don't have much to do this week because that's my choice. So you have that. And, you know, I'm one of those people, it's like it almost it bothers me almost that I had to wait so long for the album. It's like you almost get like a negative mindset towards it. But I listened to the album the whole and entire, and I really do love it. Like I said, I was never gonna totally love the growling, but I have a theory on that. Not on why I don't like the growling, but on why the growling is important. It's a stupid joke. Trust me, it's not funny. Also in here, what do we have? We'll look at this first. This is the lyrics, okay? As written in the Last Will and Testament right there, okay? The actual document of the Last Will and Testament. And you also have more of it right there. And also, aside from the lyrics from the Last Will and Testament, if you know anything about the album, there are no titles to the Last Will and Testament portion of the album. They're all listed as legal paragraphs. So you have this little mark on it, 1. It's paragraph 1, as if you're going through the petitions on the Last Will and Testament, the actual legal document. And then the final song is A Story Never Told, which kind of wraps up the story of the album. All right. And I think tracks 2 and the last one, A Story Never Told, for me, are the 2 best tracks on the album. There are other great tracks on there. You have Ian Anderson from Jethro Tull on track 2. He does has a flute solo on the album, as well as doing some spoken word work on the album as well. And of all people, Joey Tempest. Yes, Joey Tempest of Europe. Joey Tempest of It's the Final Countdown provides background vocals. Who'd have thought Joey Tempest on an Opeth album? But I got to tell you, it works. In addition to that, the other goodies we have in this beautiful box, is the album, okay, which comes on 2 discs, all right? You have that. I'm going to take a look at that. And the second one is a Blu-ray, okay? And you also have the information here on the album. And they do have a new drummer whose name is Walteri. I'm going to have a bitch of a time saying this. Varinian on drums and backing vocals. I have not had a chance to listen to the Blu-ray since getting this yesterday. It took a while to get to me from Germany, but I'm thrilled. But I've been listening to the album, so I'm cool with it. Now, a lot of times, you get a lot of bonus stuff, and, this is kind of cool in a way, the bonus stuff that they included for this one. Aside from that, obviously you get your certificate of authenticity, and this is limited to 4,000 copies worldwide. So it's kind of cool to have something that's limited edition. Always like the limited edition stuff. In addition to that, you have this little booklet of blank parchment paper. And why would you need that? Well, that goes hand in hand with this. All right? And when you open this bad boy up, what do you have in here? Well, a couple of little things. All right? You have this little scroll, which is directions on how to use this beautiful Opeth calligraphy pen. And this is the tough part to get out. This was tough getting out when I first opened it. As well as actual Opeth ink. So if you wanted to write your Last Will and Testament, you now have some very old school and proper methods of doing so. My advice is go to a lawyer, but hey, that's just me. So that is that. That is everything that I have as far as the Opeth vinyl box goes. And, the theory that I have on why the Cookie Monster vocals work on this album, it's very simple. All right. Obviously, the patriarch of the family, who has been duped unknowingly, cause of death, throat cancer. Has to be, right? Why else would you have growling on the album? I'm just kidding. Is what it is. It's cool. The album is great. I am prejudiced. I am an Opeth fan. Have been for, a long time now. And think it's very cool that they're back. It had been a 5-year absence of them, and I was waiting for, like, you know, the Pandemic album to come out, something like acoustic stuff. Never happened. But they are back. New drummer on tour. The Last Will and Testament of Opeth. Once again, just want to thank you all for coming in each week, spending time with me. I really do appreciate your time. I appreciate the company. Thank you for doing so. If you dig what I do, click like, drop a comment, share it with your friends across other platforms. And as I always say, till next week, all right? Peace, one love, music. I'm out.